Hi, well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm Ask Dr. Victoria Hart, and I will be speaking to you today on the art of divine intelligence. And thank you for such a wonderful welcome. J.P. Vaswani is quoted by saying, "The earth is my country. To do good is my religion," unquote. And as we know in Matthew 19:26, it is quoted by saying, "With God, all things are possible." A young man on crutches who had been stricken with infantile paralysis was asked the question, quote, "With a misfortune such as yours, how can you face the world so confidently and enthusiastically?" Unquote. His instantaneous reply was, quote, "Oh, easily. The disease didn't affect my heart, and with God, all things are possible." Unquote. This young man had confidence in himself and in a guiding inner power. He mentally overcame a tough life situation and developed spiritual confidence. With spiritual confidence, the young man did not live a frustrated existence, but worked to develop his talents and abilities to the point where life was rewarding to him. Can we reflect on how results in our personal world may be an expression of an idea, an opinion, or a concept? Can we see these elements as expressions of our consciousness? When our focus is on spiritual ideals, do we reflect a stronger inner confidence that can pave the way for a fruitful life? If our focus is on outer appearances, like believing in material things can determine our health, wealth, and happiness, could our confidence be shaken and our way of life be uncertain? In his book, Positive Thoughts for Successful Living, Reverend John Lewis writes, quote, "Growing up spiritually is a process of bringing forth order out of chaos. Divine order is thinking, feeling, and acting in harmony with God's good plan and purpose for our life. It is working with laws to bring forth the good He has for us. For every mess we get ourselves into, there's a plan to get us out. It is the good plan bringing release and freedom." Unquote. What are some of the ways we can think, feel, and act as a spiritual being with inherent powers of creativity? How may we, as diligent individuals, utilize this power to be what we want to be, to do what we want to do, and to go where we wish to go? We may not have all the answers at any given time, however, we can discover a new relationship with life with this creative power. Connecting with divine energy can be compared to tuning into a radio dial to a powerful broadcast station. The transmitting station is constantly emitting a clear, concise signal. Some radios pick up this signal and give off good, clear sound. Yet other radios may not be picking up the broadcast signal as well, so the broadcast from the radio isn't as clear. If we're having problems receiving a good quality sound, what do we need to do? Can we improve our reception by fine-tuning our radio to the broadcast station? The world abounds with meaningful stories of wondrous connections between individuals and the divine. Many of these stories endure for long periods of time. Their truths stir the minds of people of all ages and speak effectively to the heart as nothing else can. So it gives me my great pleasure to speak on great teachers such as Jesus, Buddha, Allah, Manu, Krishna, Mahatma Gandhi, Vaswani, Rumi, and others that told stories to enlighten their followers. The stories of the great teachers are very inspiring. Their wisdom is refreshing and their truth beckons us to follow their guidance. Many of these stories carry the theme, quote, "With God all things are possible," unquote. May the three included here bring you inspiration, introspection, wisdom, purpose, and love. The first one that's been chosen is The Saintly Merchant, that's told by J.P. Vaswani to his students in India. So let's get started. Bahram was a wealthy merchant. Every year his caravans carried goods worth millions of dollars for sale to foreign lands. One day, robbers looted his caravans, and Bahram lost several $million. One of his friends came to sympathize with him in his great loss. Because it was a time of famine, Bahram thought his friend had come in the hope of getting something to eat. Bahram asked the servant to prepare a meal. But the friend said, quote, I don't need any food. I came to sympathize with you and your loss, unquote. Bahram said, quote, it is kind of you to come, but I'm not fretting about what has happened. I feel grateful to God that though the robbers looted my good, I have looted none. Although the robbers stole a portion of my perishable wealth, they have not touched the treasure imperishable inside of me, the treasure of faith in Allah, the compassionate. That is where my true treasure of life lies, unquote. Tribulations can draw out the best that is in you. Do not run away from them, but greet them as friends. They will not sting you. They will lead you from success to greater success. The second choice I chose was from the Tales of the Dervishes, and it's called The Strike on the Spot. Dunan the Egyptian explained graphically in a parable how he extracted knowledge concealed in pharaonic inscriptions. There was a statue with a pointing finger upon which was inscribed, quote, strike on this spot for treasure, unquote. Its origin was unknown, but generations of people had hammered the place marked by the sign. Because it was made of the hardest stone, little impression was made on it, and the meaning remained cryptic. Danan, wrapped in contemplation of the statue one day, exactly at midday, observed that the shadow of the pointing finger, unnoticed for centuries, followed a line in the paving beneath the statue. Marking the place, he obtained the necessary instructions and prized up by chisel blows the flagstone, which proved to be the trap door in the roof of a subterranean cave, which contained strange articles of a workmanship which enabled him to deduce the science of their manufacturer, long since lost, and hence to acquire the treasures and those of a more formal kind which accompanied them. The third story I'd like to share is from Rumi, one of my favorites. And the title of the story is He Was in No Other Place. Cross and Christians, end to end, I examined. He was not on the cross. I went to the Hindu temple, to the ancient pagoda, and none of them was there any sign. To the uplands of Herat I went, and to Kandahar I looked. He was not on the heights or in the lowlands. Resolutely I went to the summit of the famous mountain of Kaf. There only was the dwelling of the legendary Anqua bird. I went to Kaaba of Mecca. He was not there. I asked about him from Avin, the philosopher. He was beyond the rage of Vina. I looked into my own heart, and in that place I saw him, and he was never in any other place. Again, that was by Rumi. So these are just some stories to contemplate the divine within. And I thank you again so much for tuning in, and I pray that this blessed you in some sort of way that you would want to share it with another. Again, I'm Victoria Jewel Hart, and you're welcome to contact me at AskDrVictoria@lightyearpurpose.com with any questions or suggestions. I thank you again for tuning in.